Hi everyone, welcome to the muster drill. I'm Scott. I'm on board the Carnival Sunshine, and we had a medical emergency our first night. Hi everyone, welcome back. So as you can see, it's a beautiful, gorgeous day. These are the sea days that you live for when you go on a cruise ship. I mean, it's just so nice. This ship was really rocking and rolling last night and it was super windy. But today, not a lot of wind. It's pretty calm. You really just can't ask for a better day when you're on a cruise ship. So we had some real excitement last night. Around 10 p.m. or so, the cruise director, Jake, came on the ship-wide announcement and said that we had a fellow passenger on board who had experienced a serious medical emergency and they needed to be evacuated, and that the Coast Guard would be sending a helicopter out to meet the ship within an hour or so. Now, we didn't get any details about, what, specifically the emergency was, and, we don't need to. We just, know that somebody experienced a medical emergency so bad that they needed to be evacuated off the ship. And this ship was really rocking and rolling last night, and the wind was really strong. And I'll tell you, those helicopter pilots, I mean, they are amazing. And the guy that had to go down in the basket and stuff like that to get the passenger and take him up to the helicopter. So it lasted about 45 minutes or so. I have just a little bit of footage, maybe 15 or 20 seconds of the helicopter just hovering out along the side of the ship. I'm going to be throwing in here. We don't have any other details on anything, or as to whether or not the passenger is doing okay or whatever. We certainly hope that they're doing okay, but it's definitely not, it's not something that happens every day when you're on a cruise ship, and certainly not right after you left. I mean, we couldn't have been more than 100 miles or so away from Charleston when it happened, and then of course the ship just kind of turned around and just did a big circle right out basically from where we left, and sat around and waited for the helicopter to come and get the passenger off of that. It's unfortunate that something like that would happen right after the ship took off, and we hope that they are getting the medical attention that they need. So moving on, I'm on deck 6 at the very front of the ship, just underneath the bridge. It's one of my favorite places on a lot of these Carnival ships. They have this deck on 6 and 7 at the very front of the ship, right under the bridge. You can look up and see the bridge there. So I'm going to spin the camera around here so you can see what I'm talking about. So you can see those windows up there or whatever. So that's all the bridge that goes across. It's a really nice area on this ship. It's usually really quiet. There's not a lot of people out here. And now sometimes it can be really windy depending on what's happening, but today is just an absolute gorgeous day at sea. There's hardly any wind up here at all. And I mean, it's just a great place to sit and enjoy, a day like this. Sun, quiet, and you can hear the waves. I mean, you know, the cruise is off to a great start. I tell you, I'm really excited. I'm going to be bringing some footage from inside the ship and around the ship or whatever. If you've never been on this class of ship, it's a smaller ship. I mean, it's not small by any means, but it's a smaller ship and it's an older ship. So there's definitely, you know, you can definitely see some places around the ship that it's, you know, it's seeing its age. But I mean, otherwise, I mean, it's a fun ship. Moving on from all the helicopter and the big, you know, helicopter news or whatever from last night, I wanted to talk a little bit about the boarding process in Charleston, South Carolina. It's a bit different. I've been to pretty much every port that you can get on a cruise ship in the US, and Charleston is definitely a lot different than most of them. So in most of the ports, you know, you're gonna go into that building there at that ship, and you're gonna go through everything that you gotta go through, and then you're gonna get right on the ship from there. So in Charleston, you start out in one warehouse kind of building. You walk in after you drop your luggage off. You come in, you drop your luggage off. That's whether you are parking at the port or you're being dropped off. I was dropped off by a lift. So you drop your luggage off, and then you walk over into this warehouse where you're directed to a line. All of that kind of stuff is pretty much the same. I'm directed over to a Carnival employee who is checking me in. They're looking at my boarding pass, my passport, my vaccine card, and my negative COVID test. So from there, you move on through another doorway into another part of the warehouse. But in that warehouse, there's actually these construction trailers. Once you move into there, you're directed to a line based on where you're staying at on the cruise, or, you know, what your loyalty status is. Again, you walk up to another employee. This time they are putting like a line of colored line or whatever, a check mark on your boarding pass, and then they are scanning your passport in there. And then they're sending you out the door to a shuttle bus. And then the shuttle bus takes you down the street to where the actual ship is. So once you're driven down the street to the actual port building where the ship is docked, you go through that building, again, another line, you're scanned through, you know, your luggage and stuff is scanned through the metal detectors and so forth. And then you go up one flight, and then up the walkway to the ship. So that process is definitely way different. I imagine it's just because that port building where the ship docks in Charleston is really, really small, and I cannot imagine them processing thousands of people through that building. So yeah, so it was definitely different, and I had no idea. My driver didn't know how to get in there either, so we did some U-turns and things like that, you know, stopped and asked some people. But we made it in there. It's definitely a different process. Now that I know, then I know, right? So now I'll never have to go through that again. So as I had mentioned before, I've been on the Sunshine one other time. I think it was in like 2017. We sailed out of Port Canaveral. We went to Southern Caribbean, so it was Aruba, Curacao, and Grand Turk. I mean, it's a great little ship. I mean, it used to be called the Destiny, and then they transformed it into the Sunshine, and now it's its own class ship. I mean, it's a great little ship. I mean, it's got a lot of upgrades on it, a lot of what they had called back before the pandemic, the 2.0, I think Carnival called it, like Carnival 2.0 upgrades. It's got a lot of great things on it. It's a great ship. There's so much happening, like always on Carnival. So, you know, yesterday we got off to a rough start, terrible weather and so forth. Today is just absolutely beautiful. We're in Nassau tomorrow morning, so I'm not sure if I'm going to get off the ship in Nassau or not, but you know, we'll see how it goes. But I have a whole fun-filled day here on the Sunshine, a bunch of stuff going on, and I'm definitely going to go to tonight's show. Can't wait to see that. Maybe I'll be able to bring you some highlights from that in a future video. But otherwise, great ship. As you can see in some of my shots here, you can see there's a really amazing water park here on the back of the ship, miniature golf, obstacle course, all the things that you can expect on some of the newer Carnival ships. but on, you know, a smaller, older ship. So I think that's gonna do it for today's video. Thank you very much for tuning in, and if you like this video, don't forget to click that like button, and then don't forget to click the subscribe button. It won't cost you anything. You click it once and you're done, and it'll really help us out a lot. And then don't forget to click that notification bell so that you know every time we upload a new video. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you next time.